Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to the channel. Last night on the UFC Vegas 35 broadcast, they announced the majority of the pay-per-view fight card for November, UFC 268 at Madison Square Garden. And this fight card is just crazy stacked with amazing, relevant fights. We're now getting two title fights, and every other fight on the card is a relevant fight in their division. And on paper, I think this is probably the best card of the entire year. Obviously, it's still a couple months away. There could be pullouts. There could be, this or that. I don't know. But on paper, as it stands right now, best fight card of the entire year. The main event is Kamaru Usman versus Colby Covington 2. Who doesn't want to see this rematch? They fought back in December of 2019. It was an amazing back and forth fight. Colby Covington got his jaw broke. He fought through it. It was arguably 2-2 going into that fifth round, and Kamaru Usman stops him. Now, I thought it was a fine stoppage. Colby and his fans have complained about it. So we finally get to close that chapter. We get to see, can Colby dethrone Kamaru Usman, or is Usman going to beat Colby Covington again? And I love this fight. I love the stylistic matchup because both guys are amazing grapplers. Both guys have amazing gas tanks. And in the first fight, we never saw a takedown. We never saw a clinch. It was just strictly a striking battle. And I'm curious in this rematch if Colby tries to incorporate any grappling, if Kamaru Usman tries to incorporate any grappling. Since losing to Kamaru Usman, Colby's only fought one fight, and that was against Tyron Woodley. He won that fight. There was an injury to Woodley. He was dominating the fight, and Woodley injured his rib or something on a takedown. And Kamaru Usman, since that fight against Colby Covington, has been super active. He fought Jorge Masvidal, beat him by decision, then fought Gilbert Burns, stopped him, which I think is his best win probably. Then he went on to fight Jorge Masvidal again, starches him, brutal KO. And now we're here. We get to see Kamaru Usman versus Colby Covington 2. Great main event for this card. I can't wait for that main event. The co-main event, which was announced last night, which I had a feeling it might be this, is Rose Namajunas versus Weili Zhang 2. Weili Zhang obviously was brutally head kick KO'd by Rose Namajunas at UFC 261 in April of this year. And people were wondering, was she going to get the immediate rematch? I personally didn't think she deserved it, but I thought there was a chance the UFC would give it to her. Carla Esparza is kind of waiting out there. She's arguably the most deserving right now. She has a win over Rose Namajunas. She's on like a 4 or 5 fight win streak right now. And it's kind of weird that they're giving Weili a rematch, but I get it. They're trying to tap into that Chinese market. I think they're hoping that Weili regains her belt. The fight didn't play out all that much, and when you have a first round KO like that, and it happens so quick, people like to call it a fluke, especially when you don't get to see the fight play out as much as you would have liked to. So can Rose Namajunas beat her again? We've seen this story before. She goes out there, she knocks out Joanna Jędrzejczyk. They immediately give Joanna Jędrzejczyk a rematch. She goes out there and beats Joanna Jędrzejczyk by decision the second time. So we will see. Neither girl has fought since April of this year. It's going to be an interesting fight. I'm excited to see it, but I get a little bit nervous because I sometimes I feel like it's a detriment to these champions when they lose their belt. Then they get an immediate rematch, and then they get stopped again, or they lose again, and then they're kind of in no man's land, because they're not going to be anywhere close to a title until that champion loses their belt. So if Rose Namajunas beats Weili Zhang again, there's no weight class for her to run to. She's now lost twice to the champion. She has to hope and pray that Rose loses her belt. So I would have liked to see Weili go on and fight maybe Joanna or something like that, and then maybe earn her way back to a title shot. But it is what it is. I'm still looking forward to this fight. Last year, when I knew this fight was going to happen the first time, it was my most anticipated fight of 2021. So I'll really be looking forward to that rematch. You also have Justin Gaethje versus Michael Chandler. Both guys coming off lightweight title shots. Justin Gaethje has not fought since October when he lost to Khabib Nurmagomedov. Michael Chandler has not fought since he fought Charles Oliveira for the vacant lightweight belt in May of this year at UFC 262. And between Michael Chandler and Justin Gaethje, have they ever been in a boring fight? Somebody comment down below and let me know. Have they ever been in a boring fight? I don't think so. And this fight just has, every indicator that it's going to be absolutely insane. I would literally be shocked. I would be more shocked than anything that's ever happened in MMA if this fight turns out to be boring. I feel like somebody is getting brutally KO'd in this fight. I'm super excited. This was the matchup to make. This was the fight people wanted upon Michael Chandler's entry to the UFC. People wanted to see. Michael Chandler only debuted in January of this year against Dan Hooker. People wanted to see Justin Gaethje versus Michael Chandler back then. It obviously didn't happen. There's been a lot of talk about this fight. I'm so happy that it's finally coming together. And this is exactly why I thought Rose Namajunas versus Weili Zhang was going to happen on this card. Because you have Usman, you have Rose, and you have Justin Gaethje all trained with Trevor Whitman. He wants all his fighters on the same card. Now we get all three of them on the same card. So I don't know if that will affect them at all. But what, just those three fights alone are worth the cost of the pay-per-view, in my opinion. I mean, Kamaru Usman, Colby Covington, 2. Rose Namajunas, Weili Zhang, 2. Then you have Justin Gaethje versus Michael Chandler. I'm so excited for that lightweight fight. And that has serious ramifications in the lightweight division. The winner of that fight is going to be in a good spot, particularly Justin Gaethje. I know Michael Chandler just got KO'd by Charles Oliveira in his last fight. But either way, whoever wins in that fight is going to be in a good spot in the lightweight division. Next, and I don't know if this is the official bout order or not, next you have Sean Strickland, who's coming off that win over Uriah Hall, fighting Luke Rockhold, who's returning. He has not fought in a few years. His last fight was against Jan Blachowicz, where he was brutally KO'd. And I'm excited because I think Luke Rockhold, the skill set that he had before in the middleweight division, I believe that that is a very good skill set to take on Israel Adesanya. Now, Luke Rockhold's chin, combined with him, the fact that he's aging, combined with the fact that he's been inactive, I don't know if he'll ever be able to fight Izzy, but he's a big name in the middleweight division. He has some of the best wrestling, jiu-jitsu, and top game in the division. Sean Strickland is just making his way up the ranks. I think he just busted into the top 10. He got that win over Uriah Hall, although not that all impressive. I'm not, super impressed with Uriah Hall as of late. But again, it was a win. It gets him into the top 10, and now he's taking on a massive challenge in Luke Rockhold. I'm curious what Luke Rockhold looks when he returns, what he looks like, and I'm super excited for this fight. And Sean Strickland's a weird dude, says some weird shit. So I really can't wait to see this fight. I think the build-up will be fun, and just another quality fight on the UFC 268 card. Next, you have Franke Edgar versus Marlon Vera, an amazing bantamweight fight. Frankie Edgar's coming off that brutal KO flying knee loss to Corey Sandhagen. Marlon Vera coming off that win of Davey Grant. Before that, he lost to Jose Aldo. And this is a massive opportunity for Marlon Vera to get a win over a quality opponent in Frankie Edgar. And I said this before, and I don't mean any disrespect to Frankie Edgar, but he's the most beatable guy in the top 10 of the bantamweight division. If you guys have been following me, I've said multiple times, the bantamweight division is the best division in all the UFC. It is stacked from 1 to 15. There's even some great quality guys outside the top 15. That's how good that division is. And if Marlon Vera can get a win over Frankie Edgar, he can creep into that top 10. And again, it's the most beatable opponent in the top 10, I believe. So in Frankie Edgar, he needs a win. Marlon Vera is a manageable opponent. Obviously, if you look through the top 10, obviously Marlon Vera isn't in the top 10, but Frankie Edgar isn't going to find anyone that's going to be an easy fight. And I think Marlon Vera is the best that he can hope for to get back on the winning track. Also, I love seeing this. Marlon Vera kind of stole that opportunity from Sean O'Malley. The UFC wanted to put Sean O'Malley versus Frankie Edgar together on this Madison Square Garden card. Sean O'Malley didn't want to fight in November because of something his coach was doing, combined with he didn't want to fight in New York. So Marlon Vera kind of steals this opportunity out from underneath of him. And this is a massive opportunity for Marlon Vera to beat Frankie Edgar, former lightweight champion. A lot of people have a lot of respect for Frankie Edgar, and then to get a big win, creep into that top 10, and then move on to some bigger fights in the bantamweight division. Also announced, you have Jermaine Durandamine versus Irene Aldana. Irene Aldana coming off that spectacular win just a few months ago over Yana Kutsakaya, or however you pronounce her name. Spectacular win, kind of made herself known in the division. The 135-pound women division is looking for contenders right now. So if she can get a win over Jermaine Durandamine, who's a well-respected 135er, she puts herself in position to maybe start looking at a title shot somewhere within that division. This is going to be a great fight. I don't know if this will be on the prelims or the main card. You also have Iaquinta versus Bobby Green. Bobby Green coming off that great performance against Rafael Fitzev, even though he lost. Iaquinta, I don't even remember the last time he fought, so he's returning. Edmund Shabazian's on this card. This card is absolutely stacked with great fights. I'm going to give this card, I try to like the great cards, and I think this card is an A+. I cannot wait for this fight card. My favorite fight on the card, and I know it's kind of dumb to say because sometimes I like to pick out a favorite fight, but It's not the main event. It's not the co-main event. I love them. I love them too. But my favorite fight on the card has to be Justin Gaethje versus Michael Chandler. And I really believe that someone in that fight is getting absolutely slept. And it's such an important fight to the lightweight division. But overall, I mean, really, you can pick any of these fights out of a hat. I love them just as much. The top 3 fights alone, again, worth the price of the pay-per-view. So do me a favor, comment down below. Let me know what your favorite fight is. Don't forget to like the video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.